Welcome to the grand finals of the World Doom League's Fall 2025 season, where we're going to be broadcasting the monumental clash between the Boys in Blue, Bodyguards, and the Rebels in Red, Plexible, as they compete for the DemonSphere 13 title. I am Xenaero, and joining me today are two longtime Doom Capture the Flag veterans. To my left is my co-caster, KBlair. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, ready for some good Doom.
Good to hear it. And to my right is the World Doom League Commissioner and Captain of the Superchargers, Ralphis. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Zen. It's good to be back after a 3-year hiatus here. We had a good season, and I think today is going to be a great game between probably two of the maybe like all-time best teams that we've ever had. So it should be a good game here.
It definitely should be. These teams are pretty powerful going into the fall 2025 season. And thank you to everybody who is joining us here at home, or, hey, like wherever you might be tuning in from. We appreciate you guys joining us and giving us a little bit of your time here on this Sunday. Ralph, for everybody at home who is joining us and might be unfamiliar with the World Doom League, what can you tell us about the WDL, what it's all about, and how it adds to the classic Doom experience?
Sure, Zen, thanks. So the WDL, the World Doom League, this is a 3 vs 3 Doom Capture the Flag League, and it is the history and origins of it trace back all the way back to 2006, 2007, when it was the International Doom League. This is the 28th overall season, the 13th season of the World Doom League, and we've had hundreds of players over the years, probably thousands of games. I'm not quite sure what the number is, but it's got to be around 1,000 or over. But basically the way it works is this. At the beginning of every season, we have a list of players that sign up, and then we'll have a list of captains. The captains, then they go into a draft, kind of like a professional sports league, and they will bid on players at the beginning of the season. And then they bid for their teams, they flesh their teams out, and then they play the full season. A season is 5 weeks. We went through the 5-week season here. There were 6 teams this season. There was one playoff round before this. The Bodyguards and Plexible both were the ones that advanced here to the finals. And Nexus, the captain of Bodyguards, drafted Disparel, Shane, and Ludwig. And Ninja Dog, the captain of Plexibles, drafted Poto, Toby, and Hugo. So basically the format of a game is it's 3 vs 3 capture the flag. We play different maps every week during the regular season, and then in the playoffs here where we're at now, the teams get to pick a home field. So you're going to see 2 different maps today, one for the Bodyguards and one for Plexible when they're playing against each other, and it should be pretty exciting. I think that I think today could be possibly one of the best finals if it plays out the way that I'm thinking it might.
Thank you, and we will be getting into that shortly. But Blair, let's talk about you for a second. How long have you been playing Doom 2 in a capture the flag format?
Let's see. So I think I was a part of the IDL, which is the predecessor to the WDL, back in 2007. So long time. Only have one title to show for it after playing all these years, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
And sure it does. I mean, there are many teams that have cycled in and out over the years, and some players have fallen away, but some players like us have been around for a very long time. But enough about us. How about we talk about Plexible here for a second? Now, Blair, what do you have to say about Plexible? They have had quite a season so far.
Yeah, well, Ninja Dog is the captain of Plexible, and he is going for his back-to-back victory. He actually won our last WDL season in WDL, I believe it was summer 2022. So this man needs no introduction. He is probably the best fragger in the world, might be the best fragger of all time. And he's surrounded by just a great team with Poto, who has been in the league. I think this is his 3rd season, but this season is by far his most successful one. And of course, Toby, their third Toby, who usually hangs around, SXP Human Bones teams. usually captured by him in the previous seasons. However, this season he's made finals, so he gets picked up by Ninja Dog, and all of a sudden he has instant success. So for Plexible, I mean that's a very powerful team, but I mean so is BG. So it's going to be really interesting. They have high flying power, they have frag power, they have sneak power. Pretty much everything that you need in a modern WDL team to succeed in the league.
A very powerful team, and they are only the number 2 seed, so that is already really high praise. Ralph, do you have anything to add on Plexible before we get into their home field?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to echo some of what Blair said here, Ninja Dog, I think pound for pound, most likely probably the best capture the flag player in the game right now. If you look at his all-time stats on doomleague.org, we have a rating system basically, and this stat is called RAT. And what this, without going into the big details of it, many years ago, we looked at data from 3,000 to 5,000 games. I forget what it was, but it was in the thousands. And we looked at what stats usually result in a win for the team. So this RAT number, if it's 100, that means that you've done enough usually to put your team in a winning position. It's kind of like a win share stat in basketball or hockey, those sorts of games. That was what inspired it. If you look at all the seasons that we've ever played, Ninja Dog is kind of in a tier of his own on his rating. It's 149 points. So if you figure 100 is kind of the baseline for what is required for a player to do enough to put their team over, well, Ninja Dog is 149, and there's nobody even really that close to him. In terms of players that have ever scored over 100, there's only 34 in the history of the league as like a lifetime rating, and he is by far probably in his own stratosphere. So Ninja Dog, I think pound for pound, one of the best players, and I think that you're going to see that today. He is a fragging machine when it comes to actually fragging people in the game, or damage, we'll just say, the damage that he deals. He is all-time the highest damage per 8 minutes that there is. In an 8-minute span of time, Ninja Dog historically will deal 6,273 hit points of damage. There's really not many people even close to his range, and even this season, he is 6,300 damage per 8 minutes. That's a typical game. An 8-minute round is usually what it averages out to. So you figure in a typical game, he's putting down 6,300 damage. The next closest this season was Nexus, the captain of the bodyguards today, and he's 5,600. So Ninja Dog is one of the greatest fraggers of all time, and he is one of the greatest WDL players of all time. And I think what we're going to see is we're going to see if he can keep that up today. If he does and performs how he has historically, I think that it's going to look good for Plexible. Additionally, the other players on the team, Poto, who was mentioned, we should probably mention that in terms of that rating, that WDL RAT rating, this season, he is the number 1 player. He's got 158 RAT, and that is insanely high. I don't think that there's really been a lot of players that have ever even gotten a number that high. And I mean, it just is what it is. He's just great. So you look at the overall lifetime, all the seasons, Ninja Dog and Poto, they're probably right now a smaller sample size than some other players, but they're top players all time. So they're going to be out there doing what they got to do. This season, Poto and Ninja Dog are the number 1 and number 3 rated players by that metric. Toby is number 8, so you got 3 top 10 players there. They're going to be out here ready to roll today, and map 8 is a very good map for them. The 3 of us played on the Superchargers this season. We had the unfortunate luck of running up against them next week on map 8, and they destroyed us. They're very good, so the bodyguards have a lot of work to do to stop Plexible because they're just incredibly good.
All right, well put. And we're going to talk about, on the topic of Plexible and their home field, we're going to get into map 8. which is something epic. It has been a map that has been historically, I mean, as far back as Capture the Flag was put into Doom 2 Hell on Earth in a source port a long time ago. Ralph, you were there when this happened, so why don't we talk about something epic, starting off with you.
Sure. So Something Epic is one of the oldest Doom Capture the Flag maps. So Capture the Flag, in its current kind of iteration, its form, it had been tried a couple times before, but where it really became popular was back in 2004. Capture the Flag was implemented in the XIII source port, and when that happened, there needed to be a WOD with a few maps in it. A few of those maps have kind of survived till today, 20 years later, 20 plus years later. And one of them is Something Epic. Now, when this map came about originally, people weren't rocket jumping all over the place. It was really kind of more like old school classic Doom, where people were just kind of running around. Some people were using keyboard only. That's not the case nowadays. As you can see behind us here on the screen, there's a lot of verticality in this map. And what you're going to see here today from both teams, because both teams are very capable of it, is you're going to see a lot of rocket jumping back and forth. And there is mouse look on in Capture the Flag, so you're going to see a lot of jumping and a lot of people trying to defend against those jumps. The two main places you're going to see that probably happen is right here in the flag rooms. They're going to try to grab the flag and jump up to the top or jump out, or a lot of times you'll see them try to jump over the entire middle area, or sometimes up on those ledges on the side. So it is an interesting map. It has survived 20-something years, and still people are finding new little tricks and ways to play it. So that's a testament to how good a simple map can still be something that is played later just by giving players options. So I think that it's tried and true, one of the oldest CTF maps.
Absolutely. And Blair, we were, as mentioned before, we were up against Flexible on this map. And what was your takeaway on what BG might be up against?
Yeah, this map is really, the yin to Flexible's yang. It is their muse. They are one with this map. Back in the day when this was released in 2004, the gameplay, if we had demos of back then, the gameplay looked nothing like it is now. Now it seems to be a combination of a crazy defense that pushes up, crazy frag heavy defense, and of course your runners, your mid and your O, have to be well versed in rocket jumping onto the sides, over the little hump in the bases. It has definitely taken on a new life. As it has aged. It has aged like a fine wine. That said, this map has been in the WDL finals for 6 out of the 13 seasons. So it is very popular among, I should say, winning teams who make it to the finals. It has such a unique gameplay aspect to it that you really need to be able to master this if you are to advance into the WDL finals and actually, get a championship in the current day. The older seasons, I think there was one appearance in the first season, and then none until recently. I think it's the past 7 or 5 of the last 7 seasons has been a finals map. So, very popular among the players. And like I said, just a crazy different, change up for Flexible to serve to BG. And yeah, BG is they have the work cut out for them. BG is also composed well in terms of their players to handle Flex on this map, but of course, it is such a crazy change up. And of course, the format for the WDL finals, 2 maps on BG's home field, 2 maps on here, and then again on BG's home field. That breakneck change of pace might be a lot for BG to handle.
Absolutely, and very well put. But other features of this map for players who are unaware of how the map may operate, but are familiar with Doom mechanics, there are a couple teleporters in mid in the lava, which can not only hamper rocket jumping if you're at an off angle, going from base to base, but also it can also prove to be a diversion. Like, say if the flag runner is being pursued, you want to jump into the lava, try to buy yourself a couple seconds, let the players on your team push up to help you. This map really exemplifies how important communication is between teams, because you don't have a line of sight to your teammates at all times. And as the years have gone on, players have moved from, they would press a key on their keyboards for team-based text binds, and now almost every team in the World Doom League and in modern Doom competition in general, they're all in voice chat all the time. That is how much better teams have gotten over the years, sharpening themselves against each other, and it really is a spectacle to see. And Ralph, like, how important are communications nowadays? Like, in terms of fidelity, and you want to keep your syllables low. Like, let's talk about that a bit.
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of the evolution of communication in this game, you think back to 28 seasons ago, back in 2007, Ancient History, we saw some people in the chat here saying that they were born in 2004. So back when these guys were in diapers, people were playing and basically didn't communicate very much at all. Back then, when CTF came out, mostly people had played deathmatch and duels before that, because that was all that was available. So most people were just used to aiming and shooting and doing their thing, right? And so when we get into these CTF games, one person would say, I'm defense, the other person would say, I'm offense, and they would just sit in their spots and shoot all game. Eventually, players started realizing, well, we can start making, and this was kind of before Discords and TeamSpeaks and stuff were popular, so people didn't have headsets and they were expensive. So what would happen is that people would they would set binds on their keyboards, and they would just send little chat strings, right? Incoming top, whatever. And they would just press a button on their keyboard. So that was how that started. And then eventually, players start getting on the voice, and things start becoming easier for people to organize. So the teams that were on voice chat started killing the teams that weren't on voice chat. And now all the teams are on voice chat. So now teams are looking at how can we improve our voice chat as we go. So 10 years ago, people might be on voice chat, be like, hey, there's one coming in the middle or whatever. Now, most people are trying to figure out how do we reduce things to one syllable so that we can get as much information out as quickly as possible. One top, two mid, those sorts of things. Instead of saying tunnel, you say tons or something like that. So people are trying to still find an edge here. And what you're seeing over time as these communications improve is you're starting to see this new evolution of, probably over the past 4 or 5 seasons, where these positions that used to be kind of set, like, hey, we got this defender, he's just defense all game. Well, now these defenders are moving around in a fluid sort of position because the players are talking to each other, and they're able to move around and kind of be fluid with their position. So the defender sometimes might become the runner, might become the mid. The runner might drop back and become the defense. You actually saw a little bit of that last week on this map, and probably on map 17 that the viewers aren't going to see today, but it was a similar kind of weird older map where you could kind of move around a little bit easier. So I think that what we're going to probably see here today is Ninja Dog most likely is going to be playing the middle position. And I guess we haven't really talked about that. There's typically 3 kind of positions in Capture the Flag. You've got defense, which is kind of self-explanatory. The person that's closest to the flag, they're trying to stop you from scoring, right? They're trying to stop the other team from grabbing that flag. And then you have the offense, who's basically just trying to grind and get that flag as many times as they can, try and convert that into a score. The other position is called mid, which is, for middle, it's a person that kind of floats around. They could become offense, they could become defense. I think what we're going to see here today, most likely, based on the rest of the season, is that Ninja Dog is likely going to be that mid player that is pushing in to help with the offense, but also pulling back to help with the defense. Last week, Toby was on defense for a good part of it, and Poto was running. I think that you're going to see Ninja Dog again moving back and forth in the field and trying to basically kind of conduct the game from the middle of the map. And I'm sure that in situations where, let's say that Poto scores the flag and he's over on his side, he can then tell them, hey, I'm on defense. Now Toby and Ninja Dog can push out and they can run. So I think that players need to watch for that today. It's going to be interesting. This is a very high octane sort of map. And I think that communication is going to be key here.
Yeah, communication and collaboration are absolutely going to be key and a vital part of both teams' arsenal. Speaking of teams, we're going to move on to the Bodyguards, captained by Nexus. They are, I believe they are completely undefeated. Is that correct, Ralph?
That is correct. They didn't have a perfect season, because to have a perfect season, you would have just 2-round games, basically. And they didn't have that every single game, but they never lost a game this season. So in the regular season, they're 5-0. One of those wins coming against Flexible in a 3-rounder. And they finished with 18 points. There's a point system in our standings where if you win a game in 2 rounds, you get 4 points. If you win a game in 3 rounds, you get 3 points. If you tie, you get 2 points. If you lose a game in 3 rounds, you get a point. And then if you lose in 2 rounds, you get no points. So they have the most points. They have 18 points. They have no losses. They won their playoff game in 3 rounds, 3-0. So they've been pretty dominant. The only trouble they've had this season has been against Flexible, pretty much, in week 3, when they went against them on what is now their home field. So we'll talk about that a few minutes. But so they finished with 18 points. Flexible right behind them in second place with 17 points. Nobody's figured them out yet, but Flexible has been the one that's gotten closest.
That's incredible, because like going into the finals, into the DemonSphere title match, practically undefeated is a big deal, especially with a season so packed with talent. I mean, we talked a lot about how strong Flexible is, how strong their individual members are. This will be Team Captain Nexus's first finals appearance, I believe, and that speaks volumes in and of itself. Blair, what do you have to say about Bodyguards?
Yeah, this team is absolutely incredible. Nexus 6, he's a young, relatively new Doom player. So he started playing in 2020. And now he's up for his first final. So I mean, that's a pretty good go, considering that the community has been going on for pretty much 20 years before he joined up and started playing and grinding. Up on BG for their first finals as well is Shane and Ludwig. He's the 4th, however. So the nerves may get to you. These people are still human. They get nervous. Especially on the biggest game of their career so far. Another player on Bodyguards, Desperal. This is actually his second finals appearance. However, his last finals appearance was in WDL Winter 2017. So about 8 years ago, Desperal was in finals. So this is going to be, probably about a nostalgia for him. And of course, Desperal could be said as one of the best runners in the game today. He is absolutely, he can do any type of running, any sort of sneak running, power running, kill your defender and then hide, type running. Like he is very good, and I do expect him to do that on map 8. And like Ralph said, BG has beat Plex. They're their only loss. So, I mean, that's why they're the top seed. That's going to be a huge factor here, because number one, BG, they've seen how Plex plays, obviously not on these maps. Well, actually, yeah, on this map, because this is the map where they had this win. And, of course, Plex, you don't become a good team without knowing how to adapt. So they've probably learned a lot from that loss. So I think really it's really up in the air of who's going to be winning this. These players are, I think, they're the highest rated of the season. These are the top 2 teams, and it's really going to be interesting once we get down to it here in about 20 so minutes.
I do want to interject real quick about Desperal being the only player some people have heard of. there is a little bit of crossover between players who submit speedruns for Doom 2 and PvP activity, including Capture the Flag. I do want to swing that discussion over to Ralph. Like what kind of crossover have we seen, not just from Disparel, but from other players as well? And how does that movement mastery matter in Capture the Flag?
Sure. So, I mean, it's everything for a runner, right? It's interesting. We've seen it's kind of been a one-way street, I think, on particularly CTF players that have moved over and tried speedrunning. A lot of them have had a lot of success over the years, right? Dating all the way back to Chewy back 15 years ago when he was one of the top players. He took up speedrunning and started breaking records on certain maps pretty quickly. We've had Dastin come through, who got very good at speedrunning after he had already been one of our best players and runners. And Disparel as well is well equipped. When it comes to running in this league, this season, Disparel's the best there is, no doubt. If you look at the points per 8 minutes, well, first off, just look at his total over the season. The regular season, Disparel had 28 or 32 points, so that's flag captures and then pickup captures. But he had 28 captures alone. The next closest was, I believe, Hodo. And he beat him by 11. So Disparel has just been crushing everybody, right? He's the best runner this season. There's no doubt about that. And that aligns with him going in and messing around with speed running and looking at other areas of the Doom community. I think that he's just going to be successful at anything he does in this game if he wants to try it. And this season, if you look at the per 8 minutes in the regular season, and I think this is a crazy stat. So the number 2 player in terms of capturing flags in this league in the regular season was Podo, his opponent today, with 1.6 captures per 8 minutes. Disparel has 2.24 captures per 8 minutes. There's nobody even close to him. As a matter of fact, and even points, it's 2.55. So he's scoring half of the maximum flags that he could score per round. That's crazy. There's only been 3 players this season that were even scoring over 1 flag per 8 minutes, and he's got 2.5 plus. So he's going to be a problem. He's the key to BG's success today, I think. The bodyguards are really going to need him to produce. If Plexible can shut him down, then they're going to be able to win this game and beat the bodyguards. But so far, nobody's had an answer, and we're going to see if that continues today.
Absolutely. I mean, BG is a stacked team. Even their third player is extremely strong. Shane has really improved over the years, I want to say, and really has shown like he can round out anything that BG needs. Anything to fill the gap, Shane is there to assist Nexus and Disparel. Ralph, what do you have to say about that player?
I think Ralph stepped away, but Shane, he's been in the league for a long time. He was actually in the WDL inaugural season in summer 2014. So, and this is actually only his 4th season in the WDL. So he's been in a long time. He's been in and out, but this is the first time that he's actually had a finals appearance.
That's
so
actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, screen went black there. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
Well, sorry, not to interrupt, but I mean, there's just not a lot of finals experience on the bodyguards, right? They're very capable, and I think that they can pull it off. They're the number 1 team this season. Nobody's really been able to touch them. Even Plexible had a lot of problems with them on the bodyguards' home field map, right? Can they keep that up today? That's the big question. And nerves are, like you said at the beginning of this segment, nerves are going to matter. You've been in those big moments. All of us have been in those big moments here on the panel. Over time, you start to feel a little bit less of that anxiety. But even then, you can't go into a game like this knowing that you're at the final game of the season. You've worked so hard. You're playing against another great team with great players, and you also know that probably dozens of people are watching you play. You got anxiety. There's no doubt about it. So it's going to be, can they rise to the occasion?
I mean, the number 1 seed you would certainly expect. Now, there was a question a while ago in the chat about what map did the Bodyguards defeat Plexible on in the regular season? Well, it was week 3, and it is actually the same map that the Bodyguards picked for their home field. So let's actually get into that here. Name of the map is Heavy Weapon Dukes, and it is a relatively newer map in the pool. It's still been around for many years, but in terms of technical prowess to excel on this map, this is certainly reflects a more new school setup. And Ralph, what do you have to say about this map?
Yeah, so this map, I guess this is what, the 3rd season that it's been in at this point? Maybe 4th in the WOD, but I think that this is the 3rd go at it people have had, 3rd bite at the apple, I guess, so to speak. And it's a newer map. It's actually kind of the polar opposite of the first map we talked about, right? That map is old. Everyone knows it. People are developing new strategies on it, but mostly it's kind of solved to some extent. This map, Heavy Weapon Dudes, totally different. This is only the 2nd season it's actually been played. I just looked. The last time was summer 2021. It has a lot of different weird things in it, right? It's a runner's dream, basically. There's all sorts of ways in and out. There is a weird wrinkle in this map that you don't often see in a CTF map, which is that there's a BFG in the middle of the map that becomes available every 30 seconds. So basically there's a BFG power up in the middle of the map. Sometimes you see people use that, sometimes you don't. I don't know if either of these teams are really going to use it a whole lot, but we have seen it used to success in the past when people are trying to clear out mid. But these two teams are so fast that I don't know that they're going to be trying to rely on something like that. We're going to have to wait and see. But it's a runner's dream, basically. There's all sorts of little nooks and crannies that they can jump up in, hide in, move around. It really stinks to be a defender here. But overall, I think that for the Bodyguards, we saw them beat Flexible on this in week 3. And they beat them in 3 rounds, so it wasn't just like a blowout or an easy game. I think that was interesting foresight for them to pick this as their home field because, hey, you know, they're probably looking ahead thinking our main competition thus far has been Flexible. We beat them here. Why don't we pick a map that we know we could beat them? Now, that may pan out, but I do want to warn them that in 2021, the Superchargers had a very, very similar situation where they beat Rip and Tear on this map in the regular season. They picked it as their home field. They won the first home field match against a different team. And then in the semifinals of the playoffs, they met up with Rip and Tear again. It was a rematch on this map. And Rip and Tear actually took a round. So this map is so volatile that there's nothing really guaranteed here. It's the one time it's been used as a home field map, it actually blew up on the team that picked it. Could happen here. They're going to start on this map since it's Bodyguard's home field and they're the top seed. They're going to play 2 rounds here. If Flexible could steal a round in the first or second round, that's going to be huge for them. And it's very possible, given that they're very good and it's happened before.
That's a really good historical fact. And I will say, as a career defender, you know, I played mid and sometimes ran in my past, but as a longtime defender, I got to practice against both Plexible and BG on week 3 on this very map. It is extraordinarily difficult to defend against teams of that caliber. A runner can grab your flag and be out of the base like that. Like there are a couple trick jumps they can perform that are fairly difficult for most players, but for Disparel and Poto, they perform them like their second nature. They're able to use the crate near the flag to jump into what is normally a spawn, like a little spawn alcove, and through that they're able to get access to mid really quickly. So really apt runners here can burn a single defender quickly, and that's where communication with your team is going to be so important as defense. And you might find yourself as a defender, you might be in mid, you might be offset, and then there's a back-to-back touch. This map is extremely difficult to keep the flag at base, and with BG having tipped their hand a little bit in week 3, Flexible has those demos to review. They have their experiences to reflect on, and they might say to themselves, hey, how can we adapt to try to counter BG on their own home field? Now, it is important to note in the format for the World Doom League playoffs, the higher seed gets their home field in rounds 1 and 2. So we will be seeing this map for the first 2 rounds as the opener of the DemonSphere 13 match.
Have we talked about the best of series here, how this works?
Go ahead.
Have we? Yeah, so, for those that are just tuning in, Zen in the past has streamed regular season games. Those are just if you can win 2 rounds, it's a best of 3. In the playoffs and the finals here, it's a best of 5. So no matter what happens today, there's going to be at least 3 rounds, right? And the first 2 are going to be on this map behind us, heavy weapon dudes. Round 1 and round 2 will be on this map. Then round 3 will go over to Flexible's home field, something epic, which we talked about a little bit ago. If it's not settled up after 3 rounds, the 4th round will be again on something epic, and then after that it'll just alternate back and forth. So if it goes to a 5th round, it'll come back to the Bodyguard's home field, heavy weapon dudes. If for some reason it goes to 6 rounds, which I think we've actually seen happen before, it would go back to something epic. That would be a very long and crazy game if that happens. It's not a common occurrence, but it could happen. But so you're going to see at least heavy weapon dudes twice and something epic once. If it's not settled up by then, it's going to just keep going. And we'll explain that as we're in the broadcast. But so at least settle in. It's going to be a interesting set of games here.
Yeah, certainly. And coming back to BG and their expertise on this map, Blair, do you have any notes on Bodyguards and how they might approach a rematch, an effective rematch against their week 3 opponent here?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if BG and even Plex went over their demo to see how they play on this map. It's going to be really important to adjust. Like you guys said, defense is hard on this map. If you're not getting, the one-shot frag on the runner every time, you're going to really need to depend on your team in order to get that flag back. Plus, with trick jumps, I mean, the skill level of this map has just skyrocketed. Also, finally, this is the only map we have ever had in the World Doom League with a BFG. It's only accessible once every 30 seconds using that switch in mid that you see right there. However, it is a factor. We've seen BFG runs, we've seen BFG defense. It actually makes defense a lot easier, at least for a couple kills. So that's going to be an important factor for these teams to utilize that BFG. It is a factor, it is a situation you have to deal with every 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's a very strong power-up item, and I kind of reflecting what Ralph said, I don't, with the rotational power and how strong their respective runners are for their teams here, I don't know if taking yourself out of the equation for even a couple seconds at mid. So when there's a staircase that leads up to a switch at mid, and you press it, you're in the BFG chamber, you pick it up, and you teleport again towards a top route in the back of the map. That effectively takes you out of mid and contention for even a few seconds, because you have to bring up your weapon as well, and then utilize the BFG. It's pretty tough to yield that kind of power, even for a couple seconds, against a team as potent as either Bodyguards or Flexible.
Yeah, and I just went and took a look at what the stats were that game between those two teams, and I think, assuming it goes the same way, which I don't think that it will, because the Flexible is going to change what they were doing, because they didn't win any rounds, right? The first time they met on this map. But only one single player used the BFG in that first week, and it was Shane, who you may see in-game today under the name The Fat Willie. But Shane was the only one that had used it, but he got, looks like 12 BFG kills. So you might see it. If you see it, it might be through him. But I also was looking at the stats from that week. That went full time, went 30 minutes, the maximum amount of time a regular season game can go. And Bodyguards, they put up 8 points. Plexible put up 4. So the big thing today is going to be kind of going back to what we were talking about with the runners, Poto versus Disparel. Can Plex's Poto keep up with Disparel? Because Disparel is putting up the points this season, and he even put it up on them, one of the top teams. And I think that's what that's the key to this game. Because Nexus and Ninja Dog are both great fraggers. They're both great mids. And they're both going to be out there in the middle orchestrating and leading their teams. But at the end of the day, you win by scoring flags. So who's going to be able to get in and get out the best? Is it going to be Disparel or Poto? We're going to find out very soon here in about 9 minutes.
Yeah, well put. And as far as other things that are active in the map, other mechanics, I did mention the crate jump a little bit. Grabbing a flag and doing that, executing that crate jump into and through mid, bypassing the tunnels route is certainly probably the big thing to watch from these carriers. But also, being able to break line of sight and double back. You'll be seeing that a lot on map 12 on heavy weapon dukes. You'll also see carriers try to buy themselves some time by hiding a little bit out of sight in some upper areas and around some crates. So this is a very technical map. There will be a lot. Communication here is absolutely necessary for any team because you just don't have line of sight to the rest of the map. And that is, with how quick players can move in Doom 2, oof, that's necessary.
Yeah, and one thing, so for those that are kind of new to what we're doing, first off, if you want to try playing Capture the Flag with us, after the season's a good time to come try and play because private CTF will start back up. That's a chance where you can get in there, kind of just try out your skills, learn what's going on. It's kind of like dodgeball in elementary school where you get a captain, gets picked, and then they just pick players. So drop by doomleague.org, come to the Discord, grab Odamex, and try and play with us if you want. One other thing we have in our Discord there, though, that's pretty fun is it's a betting bot, and throughout the whole season, the whole league can bet on all the games. It's WDL dollars, of course, but it's usually pretty indicative of who's going to win. I think that the player base is pretty smart. Right now, this is a pretty close match. There's a little over 2 million WDL bucks in the pool, and the Bodyguards have about 55% of the pool with 1.2 million. Plex with 970,000. So it looks like the Bodyguards are slightly favored right now by the player base, but that's pretty close, 55 to 45%. You're almost within the margin of error there. I think that bodes well for this to be a very exciting game.
That's actually a really even split, which is awesome. But we're talking about players' predictions. We're going to switch over here to our little prediction panel. We're going to talk about who each and every one of us think might take the title home. And we're going to start with Ralph. Who do you think is going to take the title today? BG or Plex, and why?
Sure. So, after everything we just talked about over the past hour, kind of trying to look at this objectively, I think it could go either way, and I think that it's going to probably go beyond 3 rounds. With that said, I think you got to give the edge here to the Bodyguards. BG, I think that they're going to probably win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think possibly in 5. And the reason for that is that I think that they'll win their home field twice. I think that Flexible will win their home field twice. Tiebreaker back onto the heavy weapon dudes map that we just talked about. And I think the BG will close it out in 5 rounds.
All right. And I, too, would have to go with the Bodyguards just because we saw them win, I would say, fairly decisively in week 3, and I don't see them changing their style up that much. Setting the pace in a best-of-5 grand finals is very key, especially for morale. I think starting off 2 rounds on their home field, I don't know. It's hard to say when the tipping point will happen, when they'll secure those 3-round wins. I would probably say I'm hoping for a 5-round game myself. But that's not to take away from Plexible in any way. They are an extremely strong team. We could definitely see it go the other way.
For sure.
And
yeah, I would not be surprised if Plexible wins. You're totally right about that. I mean, both teams are very capable here. They are very evenly matched.
Absolutely. And Blair, what is your prediction for the DemonSphere 13 title match?
Now, I'm not going to, a Nexus, insane. Shane, insane. Disparal, like one of the best runners we've seen in the game. However, they didn't win last season. Ninja Dog won last season because he's a dog. So, you know what I'm saying? He is absolutely insane. One of the best fraggers is the best fragger I've ever seen. And I've played this game since meat was cheap. All right. So, like they're insane, and also Poto. What a mediocrity rise for that guy. He has been playing for a while, but he's been playing the best Doom he's played in his entire life right now. He can do every position. He's just so freaking good. And Toby, where did Toby come from? Toby, like he used to be on SSP teams where they get crushed, and now he's insane. He's like one of the craziest defenders I've played against. I'm gonna have to go with Plex for those reasons.
Very respectable. And one last thought, Blair. How many rounds do you think this will go?
I'm going to say we're going to go into extra innings here. I'm going to say it goes 7 rounds, and it's going to display like crap on the website because of
it. Okay. Well, fortunately, our in-game overlay does support 7 rounds, but we will be getting into the match here shortly. And again, thank you to everybody who has stuck with us through the pregame panel. Only a couple minutes until game time. In the chat, what do you guys think? Based on the information we've provided to you, who do you think will take the DemonSphere 13 title? Is it going to be the boys in blue, Bodyguards, or is it going to be the Rebels in red, Plexible? I would love to read those messages here. A second.
Yeah, and again, thanks everybody for tuning in. And thank you, Zen, for doing this broadcast. Obviously, this just looks great. It is great. It's fun. And I would say anybody that's interested in this sort of stuff, swing by the Discord, and when you get there, there's a little verification channel. Just tell us who you are. We'll let you right in. You could just join in with us.
All right, and we're starting to get some players joining into the server. You're hearing some background noise, and I'm going to switch over here to the gameplay. It'll take a second for OBS to capture Odomex. That is the source port of choice for the World Doom League. Codebase rooted in old archaic Doom code, but it's our Doom code. So we'll give that a second here. Got a couple people going for BG in the chat, a couple people for Plex, and I would like it to capture the feed anytime now. There we go. All right, up in the top, well, a couple format layout things to point out. On the right-hand side, you'll see the total flag captures for each respective team. For that current round, in the top left, you will see the round count, which round we're currently in, and how many wings Bodyguards and Plexible currently have in their respective favor. And currently the team captains, Nexus and Ninja Dog, are in the server on their respective teams. Again, keep an eye out for the runners. When there is a flag touch, we'll be immediately snapping to their view. You'll see a glowing border around the screen that will indicate possession of the enemy team's flag. Now, if it's a red carrier, you'll see a blue border. If it's a blue carrier, you'll see a red border. But when we spectate a particular player, their name will be at the bottom of the screen, along with the time remaining in the round. And that's about it. You'll see the health values in the lower left, and ammo count in the lower right, and also in the lower right below the current points allocated to each team in that round. You'll see kind of like a spread, +1, -1. Final betting lines have just been posted by Ralph in chat. BG versus Plex, with BG having 58% of the total pool in their favor, Plex with 42%. And players are starting to file in. Blair, do you have any thoughts before we get into the first round of the DemonSphere 13 title match?
Yeah, the betting is interesting. Vegas is never wrong, of course. So, BG getting the edge, I mean, makes sense there. I remember this part of the game when you're waiting for players to file in as a player, especially on the, the playoffs and the finals games. That's where the jitters start to, begin. Start to get that feeling in your stomach where it's like, oh boy, you better not mess up. And then you mess up and it's all right. Well, at least when you're me. But, yeah, this is going to be a crazy, crazy game. I expect the action to be extremely fast paced. So, apologies if, it's very, very hard to follow. It's going to be bang, bang plays pretty much the entire way here.
For sure. And I will be trying to do my best to do play-by-play. Blair will be color commentary. And I'll take a moment real quick to show players a bit about the features of Map 12, starting with something we'll see from both Poto and Despairl. Say you grab this flag. We're expecting an execute up to this box. And up through here, where players would normally spawn back here, but when you spawn back here, you have the option to go out to mid or to your flag. So players are using that little trick jump. It is a little difficult to execute, but not so much for Poto and Despairl. They'll come through here, out through mid, and then usually there'll be a bloodbath out here. And that is kind of the trick. That's like the main technique you'll probably see. You might see players come back up here, grab some mid kicks, maybe try to hide in this corner, try to stall for time if they can, or execute out a route through the top here. And obviously it is a symmetrical map, so the same features apply to both sides. The BFG in question in the middle, which when available, the switch will show up here. You'll hit that, teleport here, and then teleport up here. This is a pretty vulnerable spot. If someone grabs a BFG, they're usually a priority target, and so a shot could easily come from down here and blast the BFG carrier. But it is a pretty technical map. It's a very fast map. Runners will double back constantly. For instance, like I've run into this before where a carrier will grab a flag if I'm defending, like say right here. They'll grab the flag, come up here, go through tunnels, but they'll hold for a second because I'll call tunnels, and then they'll double back up here where the enemy team may not be expecting them to intercept. So it's a tough map, and we're gonna do the best we can. And both teams look like they are filed in. BG's reserve member Ludwig is in spectator, just in case there is a connection issue or if a player needs to drop or swap for any particular reason. Ludwig did make an appearance in Week 5, the last week of the regular season. Plex's reserve member, Hugo, has not been found to participate in a WD match so far, so hopefully Plex has no connection issues. And we're about to get into it. You can keep track of kills in the top right as well. That's a Odomex special feature. But we have disabled messages just to keep that top left overlay nice, crisp, and clean. Restart has been called. We'll be getting into round 1 of the DemonSphere 13 title match. And we're going to start watching off next as team captain. Early BFG pickup from Flexible, but it looks like that was neutralized. And I can't even switch to the red carrier before they are dropped. Poto grabs the flag. Looks like he's looking towards tunnels, but he does that double back. He's waiting for an indication from the rest of his team. What is Poto going to do here? He's been seen by BG. Goes out through middle. 2 players behind him, but they need to return the flag. 2 carriers see each other in tunnels. Despairl returns the flag, but has 85 health left to his name. looking for an exit. Gets one, but gets dropped by another. That is map 12 in a nutshell. Blair, what are you seeing so far?
Yeah, Sparrow just stayed in the base the whole time. Even when Poto was there and actually made the frag, I mean, that's the Sparrow's gameplay. Is, you know, he knows how much he can get away with.
The Sparrow with 15 health gets a touch, but with that little health, he can grab those med kits up top there. Grabs for armor. That is a 33% damage reduction, and doesn't quite get out. That's a reset. 8 minutes, 40 seconds left on the clock. So not just the amount of touches, you don't need just the amount of touches, but you need quality touches as well. Despero grabs a flag, burns the defender, goes out through mid, with only 15 health, not enough to tank shots from Plexible.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sparrow's only seeing his enemies at mid, except for this run.
And Shane covered. Shane got all three, but not before they returned the flag. Very close for Despero. Poto grabs the flag, 20 health out to mid, and dropped and returned. Toby from Plexible goes through top, intercepted. X fast, X furious. And the flags are coming off the stand, but returned just as quick.
I still think these two teams are feeling each other out. A lot of defense, so not a lot of mid so far.
Team's very careful to not yield any pressure at mid, because once you lose mid, that's an opportunity for the runner to slip on through. Shane was intercepted. Poto might be across mid. He's got two teammates behind him. Toby picks it up, but it's returned.
All three picked him up that time, and still it got returned.
Toby got a defender behind him, killed one, got caught on a little bit of geometry, but he's out through mid, 25 health, it gets returned. And right now we're going to look at the frags real quick. Shane is leading bodyguards with 24 frags, while Ninja Dog is leading Plexible with 27 frags. That same top tier fragger we were talking about earlier, seemingly not feeling the same kind of jitters.
Yeah, Nexus bottom fragging is shocking. He's one of the best fraggers I've seen. Could be his role though.
It is pretty tough to solo defend here, but Poto is a very capable runner. He's got 25 health, goes for that med kit up top. Intercepted, and both flags come back to the base. Almost 4 minutes elapsed in the first round, and it has been back and forth, but no captures have been converted as of yet.
An absolute defensive masterclass by both teams. And this is a hard map to defend. And so far, after 4 minutes, no flag captures.
Despero gets by Ninja Dog, but can't delay too long. Despero misses a kill shot, and now Poto's across mid, but intercepted himself by Nexus, and a flag is returned. Nexus may not have the frags to his name that Ninja Dog does, but he is certainly playing a very capable defense.
Yeah, Poto's gotten some quality touches, but again, in mid, there's just nothing, you know, like the first person he sees is an enemy, which does not bode well for you as a runner.
And Poto picks up the dropped flag from Toby, gets two, goes out through mid, drops down from top. It gets returned with a teammate right there. So close. Poto goes for the BFG, but gets dropped immediately upon teleporting out of the BFG chamber. Despero going quickly across mid, needs that coverage. It gets returned before his teammate can reach the dropped flag. Oh my goodness, it is a tough round one for both teams. 5 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, Sparrow trying to be sneaky, and then someone spawns in on him. Like, that's very unlucky for him.
It's pretty tough. A lot of these carriers, you know, they are very strong offensive players and have shown that throughout the season. But it's so tough for them to get past an entire team. Toby's across mid. He's in his base. But so is Despero. Which flag carrier will drop first? Kind of swapping between them real quick. Get a situation. 55 health from Toby. Kills Shane. while Desperal is hiding in a little sneaky spot, but gets found by Poto, and first blood is drawn. First score goes to Plexible.
Poto being sneaky on the other side too. Oh, he gets taken down.
Desperal, though, might have an answer here. He needs to cover. That jump is critical, but even just momentary delay can mean the difference. Desperal has a touch, got armor, little health. Can't get picked up. It gets picked up, but it's returned immediately after. But Shane does the crate jump. We just barely see that. He's got coverage from the rest of his team. It gets returned. Oh my gosh. Poto looking like he's getting across mid fairly easily. That flag must remain at home, and that is 2-0 in favor of Plexible. Round 1.
That's crazy. It looks like Plexible did learn from their last meeting with BG. Up 2-0 early. That's got to feel great for them.
Just over 3 minutes left. There is time for bodyguards to come back. Desperal with the flag, but they need to start scoring. Desperal holding in tunnels, waiting for the all clear, waiting for an indication that mid is safe to cross. Flags returned. No better time than now, and Poto intercepts him quickly.
Both runners are kind of doing the same thing, hang out in the same spot in the opposite bases, and eventually both figured out.
Shane out to mid, intercepted and returned. It is tough, right? Because, you know, both runners use kind of the same playbook, same kind of spots. They're aware of each other's tricks. Desperal, though, back in tons, but returned before he gets to the flag. An amazing return from Toby.
Yeah, that was really great. I mean, Toby sniffed that out immediately. I don't think he had sight on him. He just kind of trusted calls.
Toby's got 2 behind him with 1 respawn. Meanwhile, Desperal's across mid. That flag's dropped. It has to get picked up.
Double kill.
Shane with a double kill, allowing Desperal to respawn and pick up the flag and convert it. Only 1 flag down. 2 minutes left. 2-1. Both teams have scores on the board. 2 minutes left. Desperal is across mid. Shoots his teammate, but he is across with 10 health to spare. We're tied up 2-2 in the first round. Oh my god.
Wow. Crazy.
Ninja Dog with a touch of his own, but both flags are returned.
It's just when you count out BG, they snap off 2 flags in an instant. Oh, and here's the... it was a good run by Desperal, but unfortunately Ninja Dog was there.
1 minute, 30 seconds left in the first round of this best of 5. Poto got a pretty clean touch, 85 health. Kills the guy at mid. And this could be what a hold from the rest of his team to ensure that flag remained at base. 3-2 in favor of Plexible. Desperal with the crate jump, but gets immediately caught at mid.
Down to 1 minute left. Plenty of time for BG to get a flag and tie this up.
Desperal fakes out to top, goes out to mid, 20 health to his name. Blue flag is dropped and returned, and with 45 seconds to go, it's tied up 3-3.
I believe the shortest flag to flag is about 10 seconds or so, so it's still alive.
Both carriers with possession, 30 seconds left in round 1. Red flag returned, but picked back up. Poto didn't move an inch. 20 seconds left. Both carriers looking pretty healthy. Poto is taking some damage going across the top. 10 seconds left. Desperal in tons. Getting dogged by Toby. X returned. And Poto has 3 seconds.
Oh,
kills 1 and secures the round 1 win with 2 seconds left. 4-3. Plexible.
I can't overstate how crazy that kill was. With the game on the line, Poto just snaps and one-shots him, gets the score. I mean, that was crazy.
Unbelievable performance from Plex in round 1. We're going into round 2 with 1 win on BG's home field. They have scored the opening round on their opponent's home field. Flexible is the number 2 seed. Bodyguards have not suffered a round loss like this. But they're not out of it.
Nexus wasn't fragging early, but looking at the final frag count, he certainly figured out how to do it. If he can start strong early, I think this was BG's round.
5 seconds left. Teams have had a little bit of time between rounds to strategize, recover their thoughts. We're going right back into it for round 2.
They'll be grabbing the BFG, but unfortunately not doing anything with it.
Xenaero with only 5 health. First touch of round 2. Grab some med kicks. Looking a little healthier. Still has to cross mid. Immediately killed by Ninja Dog. That shot is insane. Ninja Dog's reaction time is unreal. Poto, 75 health, a little bit of armor. 30 health. And that is the first score in under a minute in Plex's favor. That has got to be a little tough for morale, but this is Bodyguard's home field. If anyone knows their map, it's absolutely them.
Yeah, it was just perfectly executed flag cap. He saw nothing but his own teammates at mid, which is a great thing to see as a runner, and he just, captured 15 HP pretty comfortably.
I'm going to switch over to Nexus until we get another solid touch. Nexus doesn't see the flag at home, looking for the enemy carrier. And out to mid, gets a meat shot off, but he gets dropped. Poto gets covered by his team. They need to return the flag. It's returned, and that is 2-0 in favor of Plex. The Sparrow has a... Well, never mind. Xenaero's returned very quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Sparrow, he doesn't seem to be getting a lot of mid coverage. Seems to be the difference between these runs here.
We're going to watch Ninja Dog here for a second, and we're going to bring up the scoreboard, take a look at some early round frags. I mean, BG's behind by about 8 frags, but it's really not that huge of a difference. It's really the application of them. A couple spawn frags can bolster your account, but it's all about map control.
Certainly.
Ninja Dog looking for that carrier, gets dropped, but his teammate Toby picks up the return.
Looks like things have started to finally settle in as both teams get a touch.
The Sparrow has 47 health in the back of tons. The carriers meet, and unfortunately, the Sparrow loses to Poto in that duel.
BFG run!
Oh, and Poto has the BFG, just waiting to try to clear mid with it.
Oh, that was exciting.
Something you love to see. The Sparrow with another touch, not to be discouraged in any way, shape, or form, runs into a teammate, and unfortunately the flag is returned. But, hey, Plex is up 2-0, but we saw BG come back just as quick in round 1. But they have to stop Toby.
Nice run by Toby.
They are unable to stop Toby, and that is 3-0 in favor of Plex with only 3 minutes elapsed going into round 2.
Yeah, if you go that top route and you don't have someone to cut them off, you're going to have a very hard time getting that flag down. So we score that comfortably.
Very strong showing from Plex so far. A lot of slugfest out at mid. But don't count BG out. Still time left on the clock.
I think I've largely seen an abandonment of the trick jump, and both teams are just trying to get out the old-fashioned way to try to get some touches, some quality touches.
Nexus playing pretty far back into base, which you can get eyes on a carrier coming in through tunnel, like right there. Poto takes him down, gets a touch, 55 health, grabs a couple med kicks, back up to 100, and crosses mid at a very opportune time. His teammates are able to cover him, and that's 4-0. The Sparrow with a reply, but intercepted before he leaves tunnel by Poto.
Yeah, BG in the danger zone here, 4-0 on their home field, looking to try not to drop both their home field maps. Sparrow he gets a kill, but it's just not enough.
Still got 5 minutes left in round 2. Definitely an opportunity for BG to change it up, change up what they're doing, and catch Plex off guard. But Poto almost gets to mid. Again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to some of the most crazy, blistering Doom 2 capture the flag gameplay that we've ever broadcast.
Yeah, these two teams are insanely good. So far, Plex has the edge, but BG can come back at any time, as they have demonstrated in this game already.
Oh, I just saw BFG let loose somewhere up top. Poto with the flag. Little bit of health, but he has to still cross mid. Gets one, but there's two waiting for him. Toby actually gets a spawn kill during the crate jump, and he's in the back tunnel. They have to return the flag. Toby gets it. That was a last-second save from Nexus. Oh wait, no, it didn't get returned. Ninja Dog has it in the base. He gets one. It's dropped. It needs to be returned.
He's gotta return it himself.
Gets Shane on the way out. The flag. And Despero grabbed the flag. He's looking towards mid. Oh my god, that was hard to keep up. But what a save from BG there. BG has Plex's flag. Shane across mid. That gets returned. Poto with the BFG. And Poto is in his side of tunnels with a lot of health. Oh, not so much anymore. But the Sparrow going out across mid needs the coverage. It gets picked up and returned. Oh man, so close.
Toby and Poto were like a wrecking ball that time at mid. Got 2 kills on the flag return.
Holy mackerel. The Sparrow with a touch. 85 health, no armor. Has to get across mid. BFG and... Oh, there's a BFG right behind him. But he converts the score with the BFG hot on his heels. Bodyguards have a score on the board. 3 minutes left to make up a 3 flag difference.
It's certainly possible. It all depends on if Despero can get some good help. Actually, it looks like Shane has the flag here.
Not for very long, but Despero with another crate jump. Out to mid, doesn't get the kill. Poto with a 90 health and a tiny bit of armor, good for 1 shot. It gets picked up by Toby, but it gets returned.
Yeah, that's some great play by Nexus there. However, he's off D.
Yeah, time is ticking. Poto with a clever little jump there onto the mid crate and back down onto his side, but the flag is not home. It is now, and that is the end of round 2. That it means that Plex has won both rounds on their opponent's home field.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I would have not guessed that in the slightest. You know, like they played BG this season, and this game is the first time they've gotten a round win against BG on this map. If you're BG, you might be panicking, but however, BG is just as built for map 8 as Plex is. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. This first flag is going to be everything. If BG can score this first flag and able to, you know, ramp up the defense a little bit, it's going to be hard for Plex to answer.
That's correct. And, I mean, map 8 is also a highly technical map, the way these two teams tend to approach it. Lots of rocket jumping, lots of communication needed. BG could absolutely bring it back to Plex's home field and tie the whole series back up. But we're going right into round 3 on map 8, something epic. Yeah, you can see on your screen there the little ledge that players will use very often to try to rocket jump up to cross mid without going through the main entrance. It's pretty powerful technique. Poto with the first touch of map 8. He dropped the lift just before he touched the flag, so that by the time it came back up, he was there to take it back up top. Ninja Dog with a touch, he rocket jumped out. He almost jumps over. It gets picked back up. There's coverage from the rest of his team. Poto picks it back up and walks it home. It takes a second to score the flag. 9:15 on the clock, less than a minute in. Plex takes initiative.
Yeah, first flag is huge on map 8 because it allows the team that's ahead to play a little bit more defensively. I don't think Plex is going to do that, though. I think they're going to keep the foot on the gas.
Yeah, this map, while you can play it pretty defensive, it also has the downside of if you guys get burned during a defense, like there's a distinct possibility that you all get a bag spawn, and then that is a secure capture. So that might be what BG has to do here. They definitely need offensive pressure because this is championship point.
Sure is, and who could have guessed this sort of outcome? I mean, BG came ready, or I mean, sorry, Plex came ready to play, and they seem sharp as attack right now.
Very strong. Ooh, Shane with a pistol kill. You never know. Trust the old pistol. A rocket jump over the top. Shane's trying to get some damage in. Even just a little bit of chip damage can make the difference between an opponent being able to rocket jump or not. As you can see, Poto does a rocket jump there with less than 20 health. I mean, grabs a med kit back to 100, jumps back up over the top, but is intercepted by Nexus. That is how quick you can rocket jump in this map. It is insane.
Yeah, and props to Nexus for being in the right place, because if he wasn't there, he was definitely gone. Absolutely gone, burned, no redemption. So, you know, props to Nexus for getting that return. But that's the problem with 08 is you have to be perfect with every single touch.
Xenaero with a touch. 36 health, not enough to rocket jump, and unfortunately catches that lift as it comes back up. But probably wasn't getting on the base anyways. And is caught trying to rocket jump over the top here. Players who are very familiar with these angles are able to keep a lot of health by rocket jumping, but sometimes it's pretty difficult, especially if you get shot while you're lining up the rocket.
Yeah, you see certain defenders like move up to block that,
across mid.
that rocket jump.
Oh, but intercepted by two members of Plex. Poto has the flag, 34 health, going across the top. He might have just enough. He tries to do a jump, which is pretty precise. Gets returned.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had to be perfect there to score that because there was a guy waiting for him. But you know, like one imperfect move can be the difference on this map.
We're gonna watch Team Captain Nexus here for a second. He spots one guy going up top on the other side of the map, drops the lift, but you can still jump across if you time it just right. Doing some flag defense here in the blue flag room. Pretty tough map as a defender because offensive players can come from any particular direction as seen from those rocket jumps. And on this map, you very rarely spawn on top of a weapon, so there is... Sparrow is across the top, 9 health, but there's a... Poto is across at the opposing end of the... of that route, waiting to stop.
I mean, terrific defense by Poto. I mean, he just knew where he was going to be and stopped him. Sparrow's out again, though.
With an incredible angle, gets across mid, 22 health. Oh. And there's... Oh my god. It gets dropped up top. They need to help the flag carrier. Oh my gosh.
He did it.
And
what a crazy
1-to-1.
capture.
What an interception is. Oh my god. Poto with the flag, trying to get out of the base. Ninja Dog picks it back up, but it's returned 1-to-1. It is tied up in round 3. This is the time for the bodyguards to do what Plex did to them.
Red flag return.
Yeah, that's got to feel good as BG, you know. Now you have to steal their home fields, and they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, however, a tie that really works against BG because a tie means you have to win out.
Flag dropped.
Yeah, as stated before, we saw rounds 1 and 2 on BG's home field, and rounds 3, and if we get there, 4 will be on this map, something epic, which is Flexible's home field. So seeing a reversal would be phenomenal.
Another pistol kill for Poto.
and a mutual kill up top between the two runners. Shane with a touch, 35 health, can't get out to mid. As you can see here, going out the normal route it's very choke pointy. It's so hard to get past an entire team. Poto with a rocket jump out cross. He crosses mid with spectacular precision and converts a capture 2-1. They take advantage. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third round.
It's unfortunate. It looks like Shane and Sparrow killed themselves trying to rocket jump to stop him. So just an unfortunate break for BG.
I see a request in the chat about a 2D automap view that shows position of all players in relation to map layout. That would be a pretty sweet feature for broadcasting in the future, but unfortunately we don't have that now. Trying to make it as smooth as possible, usually following the flag carrier. Poto, 5 health, not enough to rocket jump, and it is turned by Nexus. 3 minutes left on the clock. Bodyguards need a capture to extend this series. Oh! Rocket jump from Poto didn't go as planned. Doom rockets are quite unlike any other game. They're very bulky and they have a large radius, so they often require a lot of precision.
Yeah, they have a massive hitbox on them, so kind of hard to shape a rocket using free look, but it is possible.
Poto with a couple good spawn frags up top. Grabs the flag. Gets returned. 2 minutes left. Poto and his teammate are in the blue base. Ninja Dog assisting with some coverage in BG's home base. And 2 minutes left, 23 health. It's tough for Poto to get out. But Ninja Dog picks it back up at mid. And he runs it home. 3-1.
Now it's hard to come back 2 flags on this map with a minute 40 left.
Oh my goodness. 1 minute 30 seconds. It's do or die for the bodyguards. We're watching Despairel try to get across mid, trying to set up a quality touch. Poto draws members of BG back to their flag, limiting their offensive pressure. As the timer ticks down to 1 minute.
This is a tall task here for BG. Gonna have to
Really?
start all running here.
This is really tough.
It's really hard to all run here because it opens up your flag.
All right, switch over to Nexus. Watching as the timer reaches 30 seconds. They need touches now. Each second is so valuable. 20 seconds. You need back-to-back touches in order to secure this. Ninja Dog going up top. 15 seconds left. They need this return. Nexus, 1 health, but it gets returned, and I don't think that we're going to be able to see a round 4. I believe we are looking at our DemonSphere 13 champions in a 3-0 win.
Yeah, what a crazy game by Plex. They played perfectly.
That'll be it. 3-0 in favor of Plexible as players file out. Wow, that was quite impressive. And we're coming back here to the desk, and I'm going to push a little button here. The winners of the World Doom League Fall 2025 season, taking the DemonSphere 13 trophy home, are Plexible Ninja Dog, Poto, Toby, and Hugo. Congratulations. My goodness. Blair, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, well deserved. They played absolutely perfect. Just, Ninja Dog was just impenetrable. Like, you could not get past him. Poto had some of the craziest runs I've seen on both map 12 and map 8. And Toby, I mean, I saw him. He technically the third on the team, but he also had some great runs on map 12. Map 8, he seemed to have pretty much perfect defense. I think he gave up one flag. I mean, like I said, perfectly played. And Plex, they went back to the lab after they lost midseason, and they got it done.
They sure did, in a convincing 3-0 victory. Not much else to say. They certainly did their homework. They studied. They practiced hard. And it is a monumental upset. Ralph, if you're here, do you have any thoughts on that game or any parting thoughts?
Sure. So, I mean, obviously did not go the way that you and I predicted, right?
True.
BG played great the first round. Then they got kind of spun up the second round. I mean, I think Poto with the last second capture there in the first round. The stats are now up, and if you look at it, there was 2 seconds left on the clock. Poto held that flag for 34 seconds in that first round. That was the longest flag hold the entire game, 34 seconds. So him scoring with 2 seconds left to force it where, Plex won one of the maps from Heavy Weapon Dude. Big problem, right? It's a big problem for Bodyguards, and then they never really got their momentum back. They go into the second round, and Plex scores 4 off the bat in the first 4 minutes. So tough to recover from that. They started to kind of try and get it together the first half of something epic in round 3, and then Plex just did what they've been doing. Poto just rattles some off. He was involved in every single score in the third round. So I think player of the game, especially there was a play in the first round where DeSparrow had likely a score. He made the crate jump. He was coming out the window. The way that the teams were set up, he was going to be free and clear, but Poto had a one-on-one with him. He beat him. Poto killed DeSparrow, caused no score for the Bodyguards, and then Poto ends up scoring at the end. So my player of the game is Poto. He played tremendous. He was a force of nature. He scored 9 points. So that's equal to all the other players in the game combined for the entire 27 and 32 minutes. He scored as many as 4 other players. So Poto is my player of the game. Flexible played great. Bodyguards had a great season, but Ninja Dog, he's a 2-time champ now in a row. And hopefully next season he'll come back and do it again so somebody could try and knock him off the throne.
Phenomenal play from Flexible. And I mean, there is no way to talk poorly about Bodyguards. They were our #1 seed. They went into this match undefeated. They played very hard, very well. But at the end of the day, we can only have one winner. And we'll be... Blair, any parting thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sad that it's all over, but we had a good season. Again, congrats to Plex. I agree with Ralph. Poto was probably the best player in that server. His runs on 08, his runs on 12, both just insane. He had the most BFG touches. So, I mean, he was hogging that BFG. He was going for BFG runs. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, BFG runs were impressive.
Really
and
impressive.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Ninja Dog back-to-back captain champion now.
That's true. I believe there are only 4 players have done that?
Yes, he'll be the 4th player ever. The first player to ever do it was Water in summer 14 and 15. Summer 2014, winter 2015. Caution did it in summer 2017 and fall 2017, and Ross King did it in winter 2018 and summer 2020. So There were some years between these 2 seasons, but he still did it. 3 years after the fact, he still came back and won it again. So maybe he's the player of the decade, captain of the decade so far here.
Impressive. And all right, any parting thoughts from you, Ralph?
Yeah. So great game today. Both teams were awesome teams, some of the best teams that have ever probably played in the league. So credit to the Bodyguards for, having a 6-0 season before today. They ran up against a tough opponent. So great work by them. Great work by Nexus, who led them that far. Congratulations to Plexible for coming out and showing how it's done again. And thank you to all the other players and teams that signed up, showed up this season, played in private CTF. Thank you to Blair for all his thankless work on the website and all the cool features, like being able to just open a game and look at demos right on the fly and stuff. So thank you, Blair. Thank you, Zen, for the work that you do with stuff like this. And thanks everybody for watching. And I hope that some people will, maybe grab Otimex, come play a little CTF with us if you haven't played before, and try it out. Because who knows, you might be the next Poto.
Yeah, you never know. And from me here, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Blair, for being an excellent co-caster as always. Thank you to Ralph for sharing your thoughts, jumping on the panel, and providing a lot of detail into why we love the World Doom League so much, what brings us to Doom, Capture the Flag. And thank you to everybody at home spending a little bit of your valuable Sunday with us here, sharing in our passion and in why we love our little section of the community so much. So thank you, everybody. Go ahead to doomleague.org if you want to see more stats, historical or otherwise. Check out the players. Links to our Discord, our YouTube. This VOD will be going up shortly, so if you missed any part of that, that will be on YouTube a little bit later today. And as always, thank you, everybody, for everything you do for Doom. And we'll be playing you out here in just a second, and we will see you next time.